It seems we've come to a point where adware blocks your AV program and not the other way around. Elise Van Dorp and Bleeping Computer have drawn my attention to a new silent installer, which does more than sneak ads behind your back. This threat actually embeds itself in your system like a rootkit, does not allow you to modify its registry keys, and even prevents other security solutions from being started. So how the hell does this happen? Let me show you. This is Leo, and you are watching the PC Security channel. I think I've named the folder quite appropriately, SS, if you remember the Nazi days. In here we have the actual Sullen installer payload and some arguments that we need to use to launch it, as it is region specific. It seems it mostly targets users from the US. In order to ensure that it works out as expected, I'm going to have to use command prompt to launch it along with the arguments, but this could easily be a background process initiated when you're installing some program which is accompanied by one of these bundle installers. There we go. Now we're ready to launch, but before that, let's load up some analysis tools so that we can actually see what happens. Since, as I've mentioned earlier, this thing is really sneaky and it does not want you to know what's going on. Now we're primarily going to use a couple of tools, TCP view to show us the connections that it's going to make, and Redshot to show us the file and registry modifications. So I'm going to scan the entire C directory, and we're going to take a reference shot now, and we'll take another shot after the program has installed, and we'll compare the two. As you can notice, TCP view is showing us only the default system connections, but we will see new things over here once the program has launched. So now we're ready to go. As you can see, immediately lots of new connections. And nothing is actually shown. There's no installer, but everything's happening in the background, and we already have a new desktop icon. Now while it's working, let's take a look at the VirusTotal scan results for this threat. At the moment, it seems to be detected by quite a few engines. 41 out of 61, so most major AV vendors block it. And that's not really a surprise, given that the file was first seen, I think, over a month ago. There you go. And since a lot of people have been crusading about the effectiveness of Windows Defender, once again, I would like to point out that it does not block this threat, despite it being quite dangerous and quite old too. That's not the point I'm trying to prove with this video, but just so you know. Another argument that people often make is that if you're smart, you can avoid all sorts of malware. Now I'd like you to think about this. If you try to download, say, VLC Media Player and you got this as a bundled installer, you just clicked on install, and in the background it launched this process. Now the process would say something like this installer, so you'd grant it privileges, and sometimes that's not even required. So how do you think you're going to figure out what's happening until you see random icons on your desktop? The reality is, with a lot of attack vectors, there is really no way to know. And nobody gets infected when they're patiently looking at things or analyzing stuff. People get infected when they're having a bad day, when they're in a hurry for a presentation. And as humans, we always have those scenarios. Right now, this is the only thing that we can see here, but soon this whole thing's going to be flooded with a lot of vmxclient processes, which is when we know that the malware has taken full effect. The process can take 5 to 10 to 20 minutes, so we'll have to wait and be patient. We're starting to see some vmxclient process, so I guess it's time for the second shot. As you can see, there are a ton of these all over the place. Now it's time to take a look at the terrible modifications that have taken place. None of it on screen, everything invisibly in the background. Now let's compare the results and see what the log file tells us. Lots of things have happened in the driver database. Tons of keys have been deleted. Over here we have a new folder, llsoft winvmx. And it seems there is a driver over here as well. And this is the original executable that we're seeing in the process list, and this is located in system 32. Now let's see what happens when we try to run any AV program on this computer. We have a few second opinion scanners here to try out immediately. Hitman Pro. The requested resource is in use. That's funny. Malwarebytes. Whoa. We can see the complete list of blocked digital signatures over here. As you can see, it pretty much encompasses the entire third-party AV industry. And here are some processes that are going to be blocked as well. Let's see if we can start Task Manager. Okay, that works fine. But if we try to launch an AV program which might remove the adware, this is what we get. Modified AV executables will work, and Zamana have an instant fix. So if we go ahead and launch Zamana Anti-Malware Portable, it is going to be able to bypass the rootkit, and it will instantly detect it. As you can see, rootkit detected WinNT add clicker, and this is the malicious driver. Now before I wrap this up, I'd like to show you how persistent the rootkit is. So even if you try to terminate these processes on your own, you won't be able to do that as well, because access is going to be denied. Once the rootkit is on your system, removal is going to be very difficult. If you are infected, then I would strongly recommend going to Bleeping Computer, which I will link in the description, and going through the instructions over there. But this should clearly demonstrate how dangerous adware has become and why you need to watch your back. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Hit the like button if you did, and don't forget to subscribe. You are watching the PC Security channel, and as always, stay informed, stay secure.